In the beginning, there was Rena and Kelly. Through gym sessions, coffee dates, road trips, life crises, and enough inside jokes to confuse everyone around us, we became best friends. The kind of friendship where if you know one of us, you've definitely heard stories about the other. Then one of us decided to move 1,000 kilometers away. Welcome to Faraway Friends, where we talk about friendship, fitness, family, travel, and whatever else comes up when two best friends try to stay connected across the miles. Hi, this is Kelly,
And I'm Rena.
and welcome to the second episode of Faraway Friends.
Thanks so much for joining us. If you listened to our first episode, we appreciate your support. And if you didn't, you should go back and listen to it. And today we're just going to talk about something that it's been a common theme in our conversations. So we just wanted to chat about it on here today. Yeah, it's something over the last 5 years or so that has sort of been a focus of some of our conversations. So we just wanted to share.
And that would be?
Oh, yeah, that would be. That would be being a girl's girl, decentering men, and then just talking about whether or not we think women benefit from having male friendships.
Mm-hmm. It's a big
Yes,
subject, too.
for sure it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
something that a lot of people are talking about right now.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. But first, let's start off with our headlines of the week.
All right.
Okay, what
Do
was
you want
yours?
to go first or you want me to go first?
You go first. I'm still
Okay.
thinking of mine.
Okay. Headline of the week. I mean, it was a really expensive headline, but it was necessary. But we were without a car for um, last weekend and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So we got our car back on Thursday, which was nice. It hurt the wallet, but it was nice to get it repaired. There's no more weird sounds, and yeah, so that was definitely headline of the week.
Yes, and you love your car.
I love my baby car.
Yeah, your blueberry. Your
My little
gumball. I will
blueberry.
always call it a gumball.
It's definitely more gumballish because of the color.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
for
agree.
sure. What
Um,
about you? What's your headline?
my headline of the week would probably be watching Winter play football this week. It was 6 weeks of tryouts and different camps all over the place.
Yeah,
And this was the first time I've actually got to watch him play a game since last fall. So it was exciting.
that's awesome. He's been
Yeah,
working so hard, so it's nice to see you've watched practices, but it's just different when they're playing the game for sure.
absolutely. And he
Yeah.
is a different kid because you can tell he's burnt out right now.
All right. Well, I guess let's just start with just talking about what we think it actually means to be a girl's girl.
Yeah, because I think it's really easy to be like, "Oh, I side with girls all the time." Anybody who's
I
heard me
hate
talk.
men.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not what it is at all.
No, no. I think it's just, and for me, when I was growing up, I was a guy's girl. When I was a teenager, I hung out with guys. I had one or two girlfriends, but I was I didn't like a lot of drama, and wasn't necessarily interested in dating a lot of the boys. I mean, I dated, but I didn't, I was friends with them. So it changed for me probably when I got my first real girlfriend. When I had that first deep connection to somebody that wasn't a man. And anybody who I feel like there's a lot of women, even if you're not a girl's girl, if you deal with something major in your life and something traumatic, a lot of the girls show up for you in a way that I don't know that
For
men
sure.
can.
Yeah, I don't know that they can either. I feel like um yeah, it's just different to have that support from a woman for sure.
Yeah.
It's interesting to hear you say that you like I don't know that I've always been a girl's girl, but I think in the past, like when I was a teenager, most of my friends were girls. Um, I don't know that I really ever had. I think a lot of my relationships with the boys, it was about trying to get their attention, but it wasn't really a friendship, right? And there
Hmm.
always seemed to be, anytime a man or a male showed any interest, it was always felt like there was an ulterior motive. So it was just easier for me always to to trust women more so. And I think I just inherently became more of a girl's girl after my divorce. It was just like I just was so focused on, you know, specifically my relationship with you,
Hmm.
and one other close friend, Alex. It was just like those people just supported me, and it was just unconditional. Like I could say anything, and I just knew that love was there, right?
I
So
think that makes a big difference. I watched and I've talked to a lot of women, especially older women now, about, um, all the nursing homes are filled with women. And the women that you have in your life are in your life, hopefully, fingers crossed, forever.
yeah,
They're the ones there. Watching my mom lose my stepdad, you know, and not say that she was surrounded by support, but you really do find out when you're going through something big who's there for you. And the easiest, I think, due to the fact that we're conditioned emotionally, is going to be your girls. And I agree. My divorce was a huge defining factor. I mean, I had started to really cultivate friendships late 20s, early 30s. I mean, there was a previous friendship, and then you and Krista, no question. But I really do think that looking back, my divorce was the catalyst to being a girl's girl in the sense that I don't look at my male relationships the same way that I do because I know when my life kind of went to hell, my girls were there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So do you think, like we've talked about how women have supported us in our lives? Can you think of times where like you felt judged by women,
Oh,
or maybe you felt like you know, they maybe weren't girls?
yeah. It's something that I tend to be very aware of now because of the fact that, I mean, I joke around all the time that, we were at the gym the one day and I was joking around, don't make me defend a man to the one guy. We were joking around with what's going on, but every once in a while, I encounter somebody that I know wants nothing more than a man's attention. And if you are in between them and a man's attention, or they're
The
the
focus isn't on them.
yes, they will make it about them. And you
Yeah,
hear the backhanded comment. That's the first thing that you usually hear. And it's not something overt, but yeah, being judged by women is something that I think inherently we're groomed to do. We're groomed to
for
judge
sure.
other women,
Yeah,
because every woman is in competition with each other, is what we're told. And it's not until you get older, and hopefully the younger generation is learning it as they go now. But I found that there was a few times in my life that I wasn't in competition with somebody, but they definitely saw me that way.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I think for me, um, I don't know for sure that the judgment was there, but I felt like it was.
Hmm.
Um, but I think just my experience over the last, I don't know, 6, 7 years just being in the gym, it really made me realize, for the most part, women really are cheering for each other. There has been the odd one that has made a comment. I can actually remember one in particular that, like, it could have completely derailed my whole journey that I was on, or that I am on, had I actually taken it to heart. Thankfully, I didn't, but there was some pretty harsh words that were said from her, and it definitely affected me. And it was like you said, it was about a competition. It was like, well, why are you doing better than I am? Why are you seeing more results than I am? It's not fair. Um, so rather than being like, that's amazing, I'm so happy for you, it was like, well, what about me?
And I think it's interesting because there have been times that I have looked at the people around me who are doing well. Um, and I'm not saying I've never had a pity party for myself, but that's never detracted from how happy I am for the people around me. If I'm not cheering for the people around me, they're not the right people.
Yeah, for sure.
because I will be every single person, man or woman. If you're in my life, I'm your cheerleader. I want you to succeed. I'm not in competition with anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, speaking of pity parties, I am so incredibly proud of you for like your accomplishments over the last couple of years doing powerlifting. There are also moments where I have pity parties where I'm like, I just want to bench 135 and I can't. I will. I know I will.
Yeah.
But I'm like, that bitch is strong and I'm a little envious of it, but it's fucking amazing. But
But I think that
yeah.
that's the thing is, uh, and for the people who are listening that don't know, which anybody who's in our life knows, we power lift. And I very specifically got into powerlifting on a whim. I went to a powerlifting meet and got into it. But that has been, there's always someone stronger. Every single time
Absolutely.
I turn around, I remember the first time I ever saw Catherine from the gym squat, and it was just before the meet last October, and she was squatting 350. And I just thought, for reps, no less.
Yeah.
And she was
Yeah.
21. I think she was doing it.
Perfect form.
Yeah.
Every single rep is perfect. Like so impressive.
And
Yeah.
I love the dynamic of the people that I'm talking to at the gym just because it's, as young as Catherine, who's 21, um,
And as old as me.
and as old as you. You
Because
might
I'm
be the
super
oldest.
old. I think I am.
I think you are too.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. But no, I really love seeing younger girls because I feel like they're so far ahead of us, you know? In like
Yeah.
they still have their insecurities and they still have their thought processes that mimic ours, but man, they are girls.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I really hope that because they're so much further ahead of us, um, I mean, we're learning from them, which is amazing that we're learning from these young girls. But I hope they're also learning from us and like from our mistakes. Like when they do talk about their insecurities and stuff, and we're like, whoa, like I hope that they're taking something from that and they're not just like, these old bitches are talking to us again.
Yeah. I know one time Trinity said
I
something
don't think
about
that's the
herself and it was
case.
so um she said something and I was like, "Man, I think you're like one of the most feminine people I know." And she was like, "What?" And I like to me, Trinity is a girl, like a girly
Yeah,
girl.
100%.
And she's
She's a girl.
yeah. I'm I'm a dude. Like I'm a dude girl. I kind of am though. And I'm okay with that because I don't the way that I looked at femininity before because I am a girl, I am a woman, I'm feminine, but I lean into a lot of masculine qualities. So,
I think you do out of necessity,
yeah.
right? Like that's
Yeah.
just you had to.
Yeah, my whole
So,
life.
yeah.
Yeah. Somebody had to be
Yeah.
the guy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, I guess then talking about decentering men, do you think that that goes hand in hand with being a girl's girl or
I so the I think that there are a lot of people, and I'm only speaking from my experience, that are girls right from the beginning, and that'll have a lot to do with the relationship.
so do you think that decentering men goes hand in hand with being a girl's girl?
I think hopefully um they're not going hand in hand. I think decentering men happened after my divorce. Dating as a 35-year-old or 36-year-old helped me not look at men the same way.
100%.
But
Yeah.
also being in a situation where you're really focusing on the next 30 years, the next 40 years, because everything kind of happened, within a couple years of Glenn dying. I was in a situation where I was looking at like, what does my future look like? You know,
Yeah.
the idea of growing old with somebody and that person being your everything. And you and I just had a conversation with this a couple days ago where I said, I don't think your significant other should be your top
You're
priority, especially,
everything. Yeah.
yeah, because the relationship you have, whether you're a teenager, and we focus on it, I think, a lot as women, and it's encouraged as women for us to focus on our friendships. But men do not have the same focus, or it's not the same encouragement. But I definitely think decentering men just happened when I was divorced, and I thought, "Oh, I don't need someone." And I meant it,
Yeah.
you know? If I
Yeah.
found someone that was different, but there was never going to be a time that I needed another person,
Yeah. Yeah,
wanting
I think
someone is different.
for sure. Yeah, I think our perspectives are very different when it comes to relationships and marriage. I definitely felt like I don't want to say I needed, like I really wanted somebody in my life. I wanted a partner, but I get different things from my friendships than I do from my husband. It's a totally different um, connection with each person, right? But for me, decentering men really was just making myself a priority and not just making my husband and kids a priority, because that was literally what my life revolved around before. And now my life revolves around me. And that might sound selfish, but really that gives me the ability to be a better wife and to be a better mom and to be a better friend, because I am pouring into myself and not just into my husband and just focusing on what he needs. So,
And you and I have
yeah.
talked about that. I would default to selfish, especially in the last 8 years, because if it affects me negatively, why would I do that? And I always think of myself first because of the fact that I am so closely tied to my friends and my kids. If it affects them negatively, it will affect me negatively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I think there's a lot of people who are looking at selfishness a bit differently. Um, I'd probably advocate for it for a lot of women because we're trained a little bit from early on to take care of other people. You would be somebody that very much is a caregiver.
Right. And I enjoy being that person. I enjoy caring for the people that I love. But I just needed to also love myself, right? Because for a
Yes.
long time I didn't. So, and I'm lucky enough to have a husband that he just supports me unconditionally with whatever crazy thing I want to do, like, walk across Spain or enter a powerlifting competition or whatever it is. He's just like, cool, do your thing. So,
Yeah.
I think sometimes women experience the opposite, where the men are like, well, but what about me? Like, you need to be focusing on me. What about us? And maybe that's not the way they approach it, but that's essentially what they're saying, right?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think it's kind of the same as, just advocating for really good friendships. Your friendships should be separate. I remember when I was married, all I wanted was couple friends.
Yeah.
You would know that
Yeah,
completely. I wanted
for
couple
sure.
friends so badly, and then it was like, "Oh, I actually didn't." I just wanted to be
It
able to
just felt
hang
like
out.
that's what you were supposed to do, right?
Yeah,
Like,
but I wanted to
yeah.
hang out with my girlfriends without there being animosity, which I
Yeah.
always felt when
For
it was
sure. It was like,
solo.
oh, so you're going out, well, what about me? Right? You're gonna go hang out with Rena. Well, what about me? So now
Yeah.
it's like, yeah,
And even if it's
yeah,
not said, if you get that feeling or that inkling, it's so easy to just be like, "It's not worth the hassle." Um, and I'm very much a loner. It's funny, who I was when I was 23 is not who I was when I got divorced. That's probably why there's less animosity between me and my ex-husband, because I remember him saying to me, "Oh, you've changed." And it was like, "Yep, 100%. I am not who
yeah,
I was. I'm not who I thought I was going to be that last year beforehand." But I think, in my opinion, decentering men is something that's very healthy because it allows you to explore who you are as a person. When you take that pressure off, and decentering men goes completely in line with not caring what other people think about you.
yeah. And
And
that's something I really struggle with.
yeah,
But
and
it's interesting because I don't know that I necessarily care what men think of me. I think it's more so women. Now that I think of that, like, yeah,
but I wonder if they're like that. For me was the start. I When I was in a situation where I needed to depend on my friends, I stopped focusing so wholly on, maybe mediocre friendships, friendships with people that are great, but they're just not 100% your people. Um, and I focused, narrowed it down to a few people that I was really close with and that helped me get through everything. And then that kind of led to the same look at everybody around me. The people that are around you serve a purpose, and sometimes it's for a very short period of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, as soon as I stopped centering men, and that isn't to say that I hate men, I joke about it all the time. And that is my litmus test for men is can I joke about hating men and you not be offended?
Yeah.
Um, but I really do think that when male attention stopped being the focus for me, then I stopped caring because I've never really cared what women thought of me because the people around me, I only have people that'll tell me the truth. So I already know what they think.
Yeah.
Sometimes to my detriment, but in a good way,
Yeah.
Everybody has my best interest in heart, I think.
Yeah, for sure. So do you think that there's like um clearly there are misconceptions about decentering men, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
clearly people think they assume that that means oh you hate men or you're just for the girls.
I think what people need to understand, and I was thinking about this since we recorded our first podcast because we knew that this was going to be our next one. For people who think that decentering men is about hating men, I want to tell you that decentering men is the same way that men feel about women. And I don't mean that in a negative or positive way. Men are taught that women in your life are your significant other. You date women, but
Yeah.
the men in your life are the people that you focus on. You've got family. I'm not talking about siblings and stuff like that, but I think that the way that men look at women is, yeah, they want their attention for the purpose of dating.
Yeah.
Um, the value you hold in the world is what the opposite gender, um, for the vast majority of us, think of us, right? The value that I hold in the world is going to be what men think of me,
Yeah.
at least up until I started decentering men. But I think that if you're a happily married person, men's attention doesn't mean the same thing to you. And if you're a
Yeah.
happily married man, women's attention, although it can be an ego boost, it doesn't actually mean the same thing as it does when you're dating. So I feel like the way that I look at some of my guy friends and how they are with women is they've never put that as the focus for anything.
So do you think that your male friendships changed since you started decentering men or
Yeah. I have very few male friendships. I have very close male friends. Like some of my male friends are absolutely fantastic. Um, and I'm so happy to have them, but it's not the same as before, right? Like I almost valued men's opinions about things higher because they were the standard, right? What a man thought of something was the standard for what I was focusing on. And that's not to say that I was taught that. That's just how I felt. And if I wanted to know if I would be a good significant other or if I was approaching a relationship correctly, of course you would ask a man and see what their opinion was. And then
yeah.
it just got to the point where I was like, oh, I don't actually care about your opinion because I've seen your relationship. And that's
Yeah.
being really nice. All of us who have been single at any point start looking at relationships a bit different and what we're willing to tolerate. But yeah, I have some very good male friends, but the friendships I have with them are not the same as I have with my girls.
Yeah, I could honestly say I don't have a single male friend. Like I don't have a male in my life other than my husband and my son that I would turn to for literally anything.
Yeah. And I
And
have,
I don't know that I ever have. And I don't feel like I'm missing anything.
mhm,
I think just naturally growing up and watching the relationships my mom had with, her romantic partners and her brothers, I don't know that not that it wasn't a good example, it was just like it wasn't like an appeal to me to have any type of relationship with men, uh,
I think
other
if
than romantically. But
well, absolutely. I genuinely want to make a point stronger than anything else, which is anybody who has a problem saying, or with me saying that I don't know that I value my male friendships the same way, needs to understand I have been told since I was a teenager from every guy around me, because I have had guy friends, male friends my whole life. There's not a guy who's friends with you that doesn't want to sleep with you.
100%. And that's exactly what I was going to say is it seems like any male in my life that I could have maybe at one point considered a friend, it became apparent that there was an ulterior motive. So then it was like, we're not in this for the same thing. So why
Yeah.
am I friends with you? Right?
And if you are friends with somebody and they're saying like, especially I think of a couple of my really good friends who are honest with me, right? One of my good friends I dated, so we're past that point. But if if I'm in a situation being told by all the men around me, the only reason for a man to be friends with you is so that he can date you, and that's his purpose, and that's the term friend zoning when you don't want to do that. Like somehow
Yeah.
that's a negative when I thought I had a friend and it turned out you weren't my friend.
Yeah.
I think that's the worst part. That's probably I heard somebody use the term actually that I work with. Well, I've been friend zoned, and I remember it really hitting me hard because of the fact that I was like, "Oh, I bet you she thought she had a friend."
Yeah.
When I was dating, when
Yeah.
I first started dating after Ben, I would tell people, "I'm looking to meet cool people, and if I find the one, that's great."
Yeah.
And I met a lot of people that I would have absolutely been friends with. We had matching hobbies, we had matching, lifestyles, but I knew there wasn't going to be anything there. And as much as they would be like, "Oh yeah, that's great, let's hang out," that's not what they wanted. And that's fine, but I did want more friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
It's interesting because I remember there was one guy who I dated before I met Victor, and he had reached out to me, and I said, like, I'm seeing somebody else. No, I'm not interested. He's like, well, what's the harm in just going for coffee? And I was like, well, how would you feel if I was your woman and somebody I had previously dated asked the same? Like, would you be okay with that? Like, how would I be respecting my current partner if I just went for coffee with somebody that I, you know, dated before? But
yeah.
yeah,
And I do look at some of my friendships through that lens. If I do eventually date somebody, which I can't ever see happening, but if I do see that, how would they feel about somebody like Daryl,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
And Daryl and I have had that conversation because it would go both ways. If he's in a relationship eventually, him and I going to movies once every couple weeks isn't going to happen.
yeah. It's not gonna look good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah,
fair. I wouldn't either.
yeah, yeah, for sure. So last week we went through sort of like rapid fire questions. So I kind of want to do something similar to that.
Perfect.
So I just want to ask the first one is it a red flag if a woman says, I just don't get along with women?
Red flag.
100%.
But I do understand
100%.
it.
Yeah.
And if I were a woman who's like, I just don't get along with women out there, find women with shared hobbies or that you do get along with, because there's no way that you're not going to be looking for that type of a friendship. You're not getting that friendship from anyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's also like the question is why, like look in, why are these people not my people? Like
Yeah.
is it because I'm competing with them? Am I the
Mhm.
issue? Because I can't imagine not getting along. Like of course there's going to be women that you don't get along with. You can't get along with them all, but yeah, these women that just say, "Oh, I only have guy friends because women are it's too much drama." Or then it's like,
And
are
listen,
you the drama though?
100% guilty. Like when I was a teenager,
Well,
girls
that's
were
different when you're a
dramatic as far as I
teenager.
knew.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I hung out with guys. And then that kind of carried on until it was like, oh, wait, just a second. That's a me thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah. Because
exactly.
I
That's
felt
what
like I
you got
was
to look
competing with
in.
every woman out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So would you say is girls supporting girls always true?
Yes.
Okay, yes, question mark.
Yes, question mark. Listen, my default, you could be my worst enemy. I know you can think of a couple people I absolutely viscerally hate in my life, and I'll jump to their defense first. The only time girls supporting girls isn't right, I think, is when you dig a little deeper. Like, there are times that I'm not a blindly support girls because of the sake that, but I think the default for me will be to support women.
I agree. But I would say I can't. There are some things I just simply cannot support, whether it's from a male or a female. So
Oh, yeah.
that being like, racism, homophobia, it's hard to support. It's hard to support somebody with that type of thing.
Yeah, if
So,
you're a bad person, you're a bad person.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. What makes a girl a pick me girl?
Oh, ooh, ooh. Pick me girls. You know my opinion about this. It brings up such a reaction from me when I see it and my face shows it. A pick me is exactly somebody who centers men. Their
Yeah.
value is derived from the men around them and the attention they're receiving from men. So it can be something simple, like when it's something they're physically doing, but I feel really bad for pick me women because I've never seen a pick me that has high self-esteem.
Yeah.
Their self-esteem is 100% derived from the men
From
around them.
male
Yeah.
attention. Yeah. From how the men are reacting. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So a pick me girl, yeah, I feel like when they behave completely different as soon as a man enters a room, they're not, you know what I mean? It's just like an act. Also somebody that even if there isn't a male present, that he gets a dig in. So the one example I can think of is I remember once there was a guy that I thought you'd really like, and I wanted to get his number for you, and I wasn't sure how to approach him about it because I didn't want him to think I was asking for myself. And when I finally had sort of a natural way of doing that, I was super excited because I thought he was going to be a really good fit for you. And so I got his number, or did he? Yeah, I
Yeah,
got
you
his
got
number,
yeah.
and I went and I told somebody about this, and she said, "What are we in? What are we 12?" And I was like, "This is something super fun that I'm happy about. Like, why shit all over it? It just." So then and then I remember talking to you about it, and you were like, "Oh, she's a pick me girl."
Yeah. Because
Yeah,
pick-me's, I feel like, again, we can confuse pick-me's with just girls with low self-esteem, girls that
yeah,
cannot be happy for the people around them. I
exactly.
just find that there's such an overlap between a girl that can't be happy for everyone around her and a
Yeah,
girl that centers men. Like, it's like
yeah,
a one circle.
yeah,
That's
for
the Venn
sure.
diagram.
Yeah. Okay. Um, this last question I really love. What's one thing that you hope every woman experiences in friendship?
You and I,
Female friendship with women.
yeah, you and I have the type of friendship that I think a lot of people hope for because we've
Oh my God,
experienced.
everybody is so jealous of us, Kelly.
I can't imagine how they exist without a friendship like ours. I think the problem that or the thing that I hope people experience is the type of friendship that doesn't have judgment, which isn't true because nobody judges me more than you. Um, but in the best way. Number one, I can trust you to be honest with me to an extent. You understand when I don't need a harsh judgment.
Yeah.
And I feel the same way. There are times that you're telling, and we just discussed this. You've told me your side of an argument before, and I've gone, okay, we're going with that one. But I really think
Don't
that,
tell Victor that
yeah,
that
exactly.
you side with
Never.
him
That
sometimes.
never happened. But I really think for me, it's just having that true friendship. We have had arguments, we've talked them through, we've felt uncomfortable in our friendship. Our friendship has changed and grown over the years
Yeah. Yeah.
because of the fact that I treat our friendship like I would treat any romantic relationship. We all agree at our big, big ages that you have to communicate well and you have to put work into a relationship. And we have treated our friendship like that. So I hope that everybody can get to a point in their friendships with women that they can genuinely put that type of work in, the same work you put in with your husband. I would go to couples therapy with you in a heartbeat if we needed
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I think I just hope every woman experiences like at least one true unconditional friendship. And it doesn't have to be like, everyone, oftentimes you'll hear women say, "Oh, I've been friends with her since I was 5,"
Mm.
right? And that's amazing to have that long-term friendship like that. And whether that equates to this type of friendship or not, or if it's just a new friendship that you just like you can go to them about anything. You could talk to them about anything with no judgment. You can say the most horrific things that should not come out of your mouth and have no judgment. Just that unconditional love and understanding that like they understand who you are.
Yes.
That's there's just nothing better than like feeling like yeah, you get that. I would hope if you have a partner, you would get that from your partner as well. It's just different when it's a woman. Totally different. So,
Yeah.
yeah. We could go
Yeah.
on and on and on about this forever.
Of course.
Um, okay, so let's wrap that up. The next question, we'll do this every week. I think we mentioned that in the first episode, but let's just talk about what do you love about where you are right now, physically, mentally,
I
spiritually.
spiritually, I had kind of a rough week, but to be honest, I'm leaving for Europe in 2 weeks, and that's kind of the greatest thing in the world. So I
Yeah,
just the anticipation of a trip is phenomenal. I
there's
think that,
nothing better.
oh, because everything that could go wrong hasn't gone wrong. All the stress of traveling and all that stuff, it's not there yet. You're just playing out all of these amazing things.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, my daughter and I are just sending TikToks back and forth of Prague constantly.
yeah. All the things you want to see and do there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the best. There's nothing better than that, like 10 more days,
Yeah,
9 more days. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
When you
yeah,
get to
the
start
best.
packing and stuff.
Yeah.
What about you?
For me, I love that right now. I'm with me moving. It's becoming like it's really sinking in. I'm moving. I'm going to leave this life that I've known my whole life. I've always been in Saskatchewan and I always thought I would be in Saskatchewan. But it's giving me this perspective of just how important the relationships I have are, and I'm really focusing on making sure that I'm, finding ways to keep them strong, and that includes my kids, my friends, even like my colleagues at work. It's just giving me like it's just my perspective has shifted a little bit. Even if, a friend that I recently got back in touch with after several years, just having like realizing, just feeling the gratitude of, you know, those connections that I've built over the years. And yeah, so wishy gushy gushy.
I love it. Don't worry, I'll be a
Yeah,
mess off camera about you leaving.
yeah,
So let's wrap this shit up. We've talked a lot today.
yeah,
Next week, we would love for you to join us to talk about strength sports and how our opinion of health and fitness has changed since we started working out.
yeah, absolutely. Thanks. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us today and listening to us chat like we always do when it's just the two of us. So now we just have some people listening in on our conversations.
Yeah, that's not creepy at all.
No, not at all.
All right, okay, bye.
Okay, bye.